We are on our way to a property that we are closing on today. By the end of this video, I'm gonna show you guys how we are closing on this property, cleaning it up, and putting it back up on the market to make a profit with literally $0 out of our pocket. But we gotta go to the property first, just to make sure that there's nothing crazy that has happened in the past 3 weeks since we've gotten the contract. By the way, if you haven't seen the video of us getting this contract, go back to the YouTube channel because we did it in person, in real time. We have it all recorded. So go back to the YouTube channel and listen to that. But before we do that, let's head over to the property. And then after we go to the property, you guys are going to see how we're buying this deal with no money out of our pocket at the actual closing. I'm bringing you guys on the day in the life of actually buying a house with no money out of your pocket. Let's go. So we already started this rehab essentially. We didn't start work already, but we already had some contractors over here to give us some quotes, and we already have a preliminary scope of work. But I just want to get here one last time, write down all the items that need to get done, run it by my guy Nick, who is our contractor who's doing the work here. And that way we're on the same page, and literally he's gonna start work probably tomorrow or the day after that, right after we close. So we're redoing the kitchen. In here, probably not gonna touch anything in here. This thing is pretty cool. This alarm system right here, this is gangster. So Nick, if you're watching this, we're gonna see y'all working. If y'all are working, we're gonna know, okay? We were gonna replace these doors, but I think we're just gonna paint them. And Nick was like, I think we just paint them and we'll be all set. Finish this stuff right here, patch it and simply paint over it. We'll probably do a painting in this room and the other room that we looked over here. So let me put that down. One of the major reasons why we bought this house is because none of the mechanicals need any work. It's very light. We're spending like $15,000 on cleaning this place up and then immediately relisting it. So this big system right here, which is a heating system, that's good. That's a big plus. So you got to know these things, these little tricks as you're walking these properties. If you can see things that others aren't seeing, that's going to allow you to get into an opportunity over everybody else. Because a lot of people would have seen this deal for $290 as not really that good of a deal, but we were able to understand our numbers and our square footages and everything that goes along with reselling a property. We're able to make this thing a smoking deal. As it sits right now, from public record, this thing is 1,100 square feet, okay? And when we were first running the numbers, I was like, dang, this deal is really, really tight because it's only 1,100 square feet. But then we realized that 1,100 square feet was not including this half of the basement. And as you guys can see, this thing is finished. So adding this part of the basement to the square footage puts our ARV over $400,000. And we originally thought that the ARV was like maybe $385. But since this thing is now going to be about 1,600 square feet instead of 1,100 square feet, that boosts us up. Plus, we have that badass garage that you guys seen earlier. Dude, this thing is gonna sell like freaking hotcakes. We're excited for it. But let's get back to the office because we have a notary coming to the office for this closing. I wanna show you guys how we are doing this deal with literally $0 out of our pocket. All right, let's roll. Let's go sign the docs. We'll talk, brother.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
No problem. Bye, thank you so much. Okay, so the property walkthrough is cool and it's much needed. So before you ever buy a property, make sure the day or two before you close, either you or somebody on your team walk through the property to make sure that there's no crazy hole in the floor, or there wasn't a fire, or there's not a squatter. We've literally seen everything in this game of real estate since we've been in it. So always walk your property before you buy it, okay? But the coolest thing is to come. I'm gonna show you guys at this closing how we are doing this deal with zero money out of our pocket. So right now, we're on our way back to the office. We don't do any closings like at the actual attorney's offices. They just send the notaries over to our office, which is pretty cool. Ever since COVID happened, the attorneys made this SOP that the notary can just come to you. That way we don't have to go to the attorneys. It's so much easier, makes my life easier. So we're gonna head back to the office right now. We're gonna sign the closing docs, and I'm gonna show you guys how we are doing this deal with no money out of our pocket. Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's Lena, right?
Lena.
Lena, sorry.
Yes, that's
nice to meet you.
okay. Nice meeting you too. Are you ready?
I am ready. Wow, you brought a printer with you.
A scanner, so that way you
Oh.
can get the documents immediately.
That's genius. I've never seen a notary do that before.
You can pull that chair up so you can be a little closer. Was this for YouTube?
Yep. But I'm teaching the YouTube channel how we're doing this deal with no money out of our own pocket.
Hard money lending?
Something similar to that. Hard money lending is a little bit more institutional than what we're doing. We have a private lender on the deal. So this is just like a guy that I know that I've built a relationship with. The hard money lenders usually will have their like strict rules, and they're more of a corporation that has salespeople working for them and stuff like that. So Lena was asking if there's a hard money lender on this deal, and it's something very similar to it, but it's a private lender. So the difference between the two is a hard money lender is more institutional. They have like all these rules and regulations. They have like a corporation with salespeople and brokers going out and finding people that need loans. Private lenders are more private. Like it's just a relationship that you build. This might be a family member. This might be another person in another type of business that they just need their money to work for them. It could be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever the case is. We have multiple private lenders, but for this deal, our guy Eric lent on it. And here's how I met Eric. I'm at this mastermind, right? Actually, this was one of those events that you go to. It's like a 2 or 3 day event. Maybe it costs like $300 or something to go to. I'm at one of those events. And at those events, they push you to get into this big mastermind that's like tens of thousands of dollars. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she tells me, hey, I see that guy right there. I don't know what it is about him, but you just got to go build a relationship with him. This is at that like 3 day event. I'm just like, all right, cool. So I go over to him, start hanging out with him. We chop it up. And then, so I want to show you guys 2 things. Actually, lesson here before I even go into it is always listen to your wife's intuition. But so I go talk to Eric, and that's the guy who lent on this deal. Built a relationship with him, was cool. But my wife then tells me to get into this mastermind. And I'm like, heck no, the thing's like tens of thousands of dollars. I just don't want to do it right now. And she's like, no, you're doing it. So ultimately, she pretty much like took my credit card and went and swiped the dang thing and got me into the mastermind. So I ended up in a mastermind that I did not intend on being a part of. And then I get into this mastermind, and the first person that I really go hang out with at this mastermind is Eric. We start hanging out, we chop it up. I talk about what I do in my business. He does the same. And then my mentor, Pace, starts doing this big speech. There's like 150 of us watching him and listening to him. And then he asks the crowd, he's like, hey, is one of my students here that can kind of explain what I'm talking about right now? So I raise my hand. Yeah. Listen, Pace is out here. Even Lena knows Pace. So Pace is like, hey, is one of my students available to talk about what I'm about to talk about? And I'm like, yo, right here. And he's like, Mike, come up here. Great. So I go on stage and I start talking about what it is Pace was talking about. And the whole entire time, Eric was in the back, like, oh gosh, that's my guy, Mike. We were just chopping it up for a while. That's the guy that I met at the previous event. And he's literally like recording me the whole entire time. And ever since then, me and Eric have done a bunch of deals. But I've talked to Eric recently, and we've just kind of like talked about our relationship and how it came about. He's like, one of the main reasons why we're doing business together is because Pace put you on stage, and ultimately that just showed me how much I can trust you. So the moral of the story is, if you need private lending, now that is kind of like I'm gonna say that's not like a case for everybody, right? Like you're not gonna go on stage and get a bunch of people to trust you and all that type of stuff for the majority of people. But the lesson is trust. Because I have multiple lenders that have never seen me on a stage, they never seen me speak or anything like that. And they lent to me based off of the trust in our relationship. So as long as you have trust in your relationship and your lender trusts that you're actually going to perform, but not only perform, I think the biggest form of trust is trusting that you care about them and you care about their money and it being taken care of and secured. So if they feel as if that they can trust you with that, then they should lend to you. Like in the beginning, I remember I was trying to do deals and I would ask for like 50 grand or something for a down payment on a deal. And I would ask my family members and they'd be like, yeah, bro, no, I don't trust you. Literally, I've had a family member tell me, Mike, I have no idea what it is that you do. To be honest, I do not trust the process. I'm good. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I had to go talk to people that actually trust me and show them that I'm trustworthy. That's how we have multiple lenders now. But that's how we got this deal. What do you want to do for your business? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Flip, get some income, and then eventually keep some properties. Because
Yeah.
cash flow is king.
It is.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
Eventually, I just want to get a few properties, keep them for myself, and continue flipping because you need cash to start.
Yeah. Well, that's what I tell people. People think that you just go out and start buying properties and you get cash flow like this and you become rich.
No,
I'm like,
you're getting like $2,000-$3,000 a month. That's slow pace.
Exactly. Okay. See, I like your energy. You got to be making money for you to invest into real estate and like make that passive income. But Really, for buying properties for long term, it's really not about the passive income. Everybody thinks that because cash flow sounds really good, but it's really for like the appreciation and the tax benefits.
Right.
That's where you get the real wealth from.
Exactly.
It's like if you really look at it over the course of a year, how much you put into the property for vacancies, for repairs, maintenance, all that type of stuff, you're netting maybe
Takes
like
away your cash flow.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's cool, but over the course of like 10 years, it went up $200,000, and that's
Right,
what
and you can
really
pull out
matters.
the money, refi, and pull it out and invest it on something else.
Exactly. So what I'll teach people is instead of just going out and trying to build a portfolio right in the beginning, try to get good at finding the deals. And then once you get good at finding the deals, you'll have a consistent deal flow. So when you're ready in 3 years, once you have a lot of cash saved up and stuff, then you'll never be without a deal. You see what I mean?
Because the ones you called months ago are ready to sell now.
Right, exactly.
Start calling you.
Okay, so here's what's cool. Check this out. When we close, we're going to receive $16,000. Now this $16,000 is going to go towards renovation. Yeah, that's it. $16,000 goes right towards the renovation. Okay, so our lender funded both the purchase price 100% and the rehab 100%. You guys saw earlier what the rehab is going to look like. It's going to be very quick. We probably won't even use the whole entire $16,000, but we're going to be able to do this deal with no money out of our pocket for the purchase price or the rehab. That's another thing that a lot of hard money lenders won't want you to do. They'll usually be at like 90% of the purchase price, and you got to come up with the extra 10 plus all the extra fees and all that type of stuff. This is why having a private lender is much cooler. You don't got to pay their brokers that find you and get you the money and all that type of stuff. You don't have to pay their fees and all that. It's just a direct deal with us and our private lender.